Hello out there, Indie Adam here. I'm with,
Luke DiPirro.
and Luke, you and I met a couple times now
Yeah.
through the mixer for the Buffalo Filmmakers.
Yes.
And I'm curious, how did you learn about that, just to start off?
So I was in a 48-hour film project a few years back, and I had heard about it just from Instagram, and I saw an Instagram post of the Buffalo Filmmakers meetup. I'm like, this would be a good way to introduce myself, get to know people, just sort of, make connections, that kind of thing.
And you did. You made a
Yeah.
lot of connections. I mean, you and I got the privilege here today to sit down and have a chat. You started off in college. You were in acting, and you did filmmaking. Were you like your own actor because no one wanted to direct you? Where did that come from?
So I started at SUNY Fredonia as an acting major, and then I transferred last semester to the University of Buffalo to be a media studies major to focus on filmmaking. And I've I've always found passion in wanting to create things. So as much as I love acting and I will continue to act, I also like making things. So I'm doing it simultaneously. So I'm just trying to navigate that kind of right now.
Do you like complete creative control on your projects?
Um, I like I like creative control, but I like having influence and I like having people that are able to come in and, hey, I think this would be really great. And I think, okay, like this is really great input and insight, and I can sort of adjust things and make things better from their insight.
Yeah. I'm on the same belief because I'm like, I don't need everybody just telling me my shit looks great. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, give me a little feedback. If it doesn't
Exactly.
look good and you're not interested in it, let me know so I can adjust.
Right. Absolutely.
These things they take time, they take money.
Mhm.
Now, have you, at the time of recording this, have you completed your degree?
No, I'm currently I've just got through my sophomore year,
Oh,
and now
congrats.
yeah, so now I'm going into junior year.
Yeah.
Um Big jump from Fredonia to UB. UB's a huge school,
Yeah.
Fredonia is very small. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
What exactly is the title of your major again?
Media studies
It is
and
media
production.
studies.
Yeah.
So, does it encompass film as well, or I mean, talk to me a little more about what it does.
So you were able to focus on certain things. You can focus on like video games, you can focus on just video production, you can focus on film, and
Mm.
that's what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on filmmaking, learning the ropes, learning cameras, audio, actually writing
Yeah,
and directing, that kind of stuff. Just everything to get an open book, sort of get a better understanding of the whole process.
yeah,
And I think it's really important to have a good understanding of everything. Um, because it allows you to have more opportunity.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I would tell you is being a writer myself over the years and not having the ability of AI, stay away from it for at least your
Oh,
first
absolutely.
stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Uh,
I will never use AI, because for me, especially in college, AI is so prevalent
yeah.
now that I
That's why I say never then,
true.
because you may use AI like by mistake or not even knowing because now AI is so intertwined with things.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary in a
Yeah.
weird way. It's really scary. And my goal is to what I think filmmaking and what movies in general, what makes them such an amazing art form is because it is the ability to show the deepest points of humanity and show, you know, what makes us human,
Hmm.
and I think that it's in a way of expression. You're able to show yourself
Hmm.
even without directly saying, this is who I am. You're able to show who you are through your directing, through your writing,
Right.
that it's like there's something so pure about that.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it.
Let me ask you this: have you written a full feature or have you written a full piece yet? Shorts.
I've been trying to write a short film for the longest time. I get a lot of writer's block. I get also just with school, I haven't really had the time, but this summer is when I'm really like gonna hone it in.
Oh yes, you got the New Year's resolution feeling going. I got you.
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
Yes.
But I've had plenty of times where I've just like sat down and written ideas and gotten things on the paper, and I'm really excited to start trying to write um full feature length or short films and get things out there.
Film and stuff like that. Are
Yes,
you?
absolutely. They are some of my number one supporters. I think it's really cool that I'm able to show my work and see like, hey, they're able to see that I'm doing something with it. I'm
Yeah.
sure they were pretty like worried at times, I'm sure. But uh I've had the privilege of having parents that have been very supportive and had my back, and it's great.
Yeah, you know what? That's very I'm very happy to hear that, mom and dad. Or I'm assuming mom and dad, right? Is who raised you? I was raised by my grandparents, so I always assume that everybody just has a, the whole mom and dad thing.
Yeah.
But I can't assume, you know what I mean? But I'm curious, at what age did you like start getting interested in doing film?
I started acting back all the way back in middle school, when I was in 6th grade. I remember seeing a production of Annie
Okay.
when I was in, like, 3rd or 4th grade, and, I had played sports throughout, and I'm like, none of it really clicked with me, and then I tried out for the school musical. I'm like, "There's something about this that's kinda fun. I like it. I like acting." And then from there, I kind of just kept acting throughout middle school into high school and then into college. And then, I knew I wanted to do film acting, and I started actually doing, like, writing and thinking about film and what I would like to do, and I'm like, "This is really intriguing, and this is really fun,
Mhm.
and I really like it." And I'm like, I kinda wanna pursue that." So, recently, this is pretty recent in the past, like, 2 years, that's when I really started going for film.
Now, did you ever like create any shorts or anything like that back in high school or
Yeah, I had done lots of little short films with my friends. Like, we would just take a phone and we would just create fun scripts, that day and just film it because we were just thought it would be fun.
You know, it's so funny. You just take a phone. Back in my day, um, like we had camcorder things that you like were big and shit, man.
Yeah.
One of the things that we used to do, and I will always laugh at this, is we didn't know how to overlay music back in the day,
Oh, okay.
way back in the day. This is like early '90s, so we were self teaching,
Mhm.
and so what we would do is, you know how you have the headsets, right?
Right.
We put a headset and then we'd have a CD player with a song or whatever, and it would just be on the print of the film.
Oh,
Not a
okay.
good technique to do, but it was something that we learned. I became a director because I wanted to act
Right.
and no one wanted to direct me.
Huh.
So I found that my assets were better used behind the camera because I was able to bring people together, and I see that a lot in the younger version of you, good sir. And I'm very happy to hear because a lot of parents, even, and I'm not saying my grandparents were tough on me about it, but even my grandparents, they took a step back and said, "You want to pursue what?"
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, and sometimes it's not instant reward with the money.
No, it's really, um, I've come to find that it's really difficult. It's very difficult, and unfortunately, it likes to beat you down a little
Yes.
bit,
Yes.
especially with, like, you know, it's things have just been pretty difficult, and trying to find your footing and find your way in is really tough.
Mhm.
And, I think that what I've learned, the best ways to try to get involved is by, you know, making those connections and just being a good person and being, open to things, trying things out.
Yeah,
That's
you do come off as a good person. I mean,
Oh,
I've only
I
met you a few
appreciate it.
times, but
I appreciate it.
you do come off as somebody like that is genuinely has a love of this craft
Oh, yeah,
and has a respect for it too.
absolutely.
And I feel like there's two types of filmmakers. There's the blockbuster filmmakers, and then there's the filmmakers,
Right.
which is like, the nice quality color, story, music,
Absolutely.
everything. That is the direction I see you in.
I
I mean,
appreciate
not that
that.
I say don't make a blockbuster, but like I look at my career and I say, well, what do I make? I make blockbuster type films.
Right,
Not because they're a lot of they're expensive or they have a bigger budget. There's some of the budgets I've done have only like 36,000.
right.
So, although that was like 10, 20 years ago almost now, for some of them, I'm sure there's somewhat of inflation with it. But I just finished making Ambus
Compass
2,
2.
and that film is almost about like 79,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Ambus 1 was only 36,000.
Okay.
So much
Big
of a
jump.
gap.
Big jump.
Big,
Yeah.
yeah. We had crowdfunding. Have
That's
you
great.
have you tried crowdfunding? How do you feel about crowdfunding?
I think crowdfunding is great. I'm actually there's a few short films and feature length films that are coming up that I'm involved in, and they're using crowdfunding.
And how are they doing?
They're doing good.
Good.
I'm very excited for
Good.
how things are going to go with these these guys that I'm working with. They're some of the best people, most passionate people that I know, and they're amazing. And I'm super excited to just get things out there and let their visions come to life.
Yeah, and being part of something, bringing something to life from paper.
Absolutely.
It's just like I always get blown away by that. You write an idea down, and then now you're watching it in a theater. Marvel, DC, where you sit?
I'm a DC fan.
Okay,
Yeah. I love Marvel. I've loved Marvel forever, but ever since I was little, I just loved DC. I love the world.
you do.
I love it.
What was the first DC film that you can recall that you saw?
That I ever saw. Ooh. Well, for me, I started with Batman the Animated Series and Justice League Unlimited.
It's up there.
And
Both of them are up there.
and also
Batman Beyond was another good
Batman
one.
Beyond, and also there's Batman 2004. That's another animated series. That's where my it started for me. And then I saw like Batman 89 with Michael Keaton, and then it just kept going from there, and I kept watching them.
Yeah. So you've seen everything up to today?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Drum roll, please. Are you a Zack Snyder fan or a James Gunn fan?
I am a James Gunn fan.
You
I
are.
am.
Now you are the second or third person I've interviewed that has said that they're a James Gunn fan, and I'm interested to know what your take on that is.
So for me, James Gunn, in my opinion, so far, for what he's directed with Superman, I think he's fundamentally gotten the character right. Um, no disrespect to Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder is an amazing. He's got an amazing visual style. I love the way that his movies look. They're really cool. But Superman to me is always about, he's like the Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one that is undeniably good. And what makes him so special to me is that he is this all powerful person, but he uses that power in the most noble and kind way. And I think that's what makes him Superman. Not that he can destroy meteors with his laser beams or, lift the entire world if he wanted to. It's the fact that he's able to.
It's crazy that he could do that.
It is crazy.
It is a little bit crazy.
It is crazy.
But I mean, yeah.
But I think what makes him Superman is the person he is.
Yeah.
And I think James Gunn honed that in his movie.
Now, have you watched Peacemaker season 2?
I have.
And your thoughts on that whole season?
I really enjoyed it. The season finale left me a little bit disappointed, but overall I thought it was really good.
Now, how did that compare for you? Did you see the first season too?
Mm-hmm.
How did that compare for you?
Oh, I preferred season 1.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was a little grittier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little grittier. I think just like the relationship with Peacemaker and his dad was really compelling, and it had a real heaviness to it.
Mhm.
And it didn't have that relationship wasn't in the second season.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like it wasn't as gritty.
Yeah.
But I think there were elements of season 2 that I liked. I liked I liked that the other dimensions. I thought that stuff was really cool, and seeing like this scene with Vigilante when he's going back to his house and he's just laughing that things are just a little bit different. I think I really liked both seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then what else has he done so far? Did you watch Creature Commando?
I did.
And your thoughts on that?
I really liked Creature Commandos.
Okay, you're excited they're getting another season.
I am. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah. What else? There's one other thing that he did.
The Suicide Squad.
That's right.
Mhm.
Is that actual canon to this?
It
Yeah,
is
it
canon.
is, right?
It is canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is another one of his best.
Mhm.
I think that movie makes me laugh every time I see it.
Yeah.
I really like it. Yeah, it's really good. I think
Alright.
Superman is my favorite that he's done so far.
Did you watch the Christopher Reeves?
I did.
I mean, you have to like Michael Keaton, you have to respect where that
Of
came from.
course.
How do you feel about that, like Christopher Reeves version of it?
Christopher Reeves, I think he might be like the most Superman Like he is Superman. Like there's something so pure about that movie just because it was from so long ago.
Yeah.
Um,
The
and
technology
it's
they
good.
had
Yeah,
and
exactly.
how it came off on screen.
Right, absolutely.
Even in 4K now you watch it and it still to this day stands the test of time.
Absolutely.
That's tells something about the filmmakers.
Yeah. And they loved making it.
Yeah.
I could tell they were really passionate about it.
Oh yeah.
You can tell when people are passionate
Yeah.
about what they're making.
Oh yeah. And I felt like that film, because it was from the Donners,
Mhm.
that film like really started the entire like superhero genre in
Yeah,
a sense.
pretty much.
Even for Marvel,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Marvel wasn't doing so good back in the earlier days. I'll say that.
I think like Marvel really got its stride with the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
I saw Spider-Man in the theater twice,
Okay.
and the second time I went with a group of kids. We were kids, because that's when it came out. And my friend, he was being a dick during the second time we saw it because he had already seen it.
Oh boy.
So during the whole time, he was like saying things out loud, and I'm like, dude, don't do that. I like when I go to see a movie, I want to be there for the experience.
Yes.
Don't be giving me your fucking commentary. You know what I mean? And I'm even for him, but in general, anybody that goes to the movie theater and just talk. I was at the theater recently and someone was on their phone,
Oh god.
literally talking on the phone during the like there was an action sequence and they're on the phone.
Oh
Anyways,
god.
long story short, we were walking out of the second time we saw that movie, and somebody got pissed at him for that, hit him in the side of the head as we were walking out. Yeah, we couldn't tell who it was. The crowd was so big coming out of the theater that we could not figure out who the guy was that hit him.
Gosh.
But somebody like wailed him.
Wailed him?
Yeah.
Dang.
And this is a cat that used to have piercings in his ears, right?
Oh, okay.
So he had one. I'm not sure what this part of the ear is called, but the
Okay.
flap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The flap of the ear. He had like a pointy stick thing out. So like,
jeez.
not only did the guy probably got hurt too,
Yeah.
but this guy got this thing jabbed in his ear. What is more difficult in your opinion, grounded dramatic acting or larger than life like genre performances?
Um, I would say both are really tough, but for me, I think grounded performances are, I would say, more tough because being grounded in somebody that isn't yourself can be really tough.
Mhm.
Um, and having uh being truthful in that, you have to having truth in who your character is and being grounded in that truth is really difficult. I think that larger than life genre performances, although they're really tough, I think because I think they're actually more streamlined in direction
Mhm.
because they are a genre. So okay, I need to be like this pretty much the whole time.
Do you have a favorite genre you like?
Psychological thriller, horror, for what I like making, but movies that I like watching, I love like action. Um, I love dramas. I mean, I pretty much love everything, but like action, thriller, drama, horror, that's kind of my thing.
Let me ask you something about this. Uh, romantic comedies.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a
Oh,
romantic
of
comedy?
course. Yeah.
Was there one that stands out to you?
I think 10 Things I Hate About You.
What about that movie like intrigues you?
I think it's just because it's not I think I really enjoy just the way they tackled this girl that isn't really into people, doesn't like people, but it's seeing her sort of change and like find a way to love somebody.
Mhm.
And this guy who's not necessarily like a super put together guy, but they're able to really just like they were made for each other. I think that's really sweet
Mhm.
and really like it makes me feel good. There you go.
The good thing about you coming up in at the age that you are is there are studios starting to come up in Buffalo.
Yes, there are. I'm very excited about that.
Not only that, but there has become a much bigger community. When I started off, there was nothing. There was a film commission. They're good people over there, and now that there's such a community, you start like being able to branch out and you get to know these folks. But anyways, the point I'm trying to say is there's so much more structure than there was.
Right.
I don't know if it's completely there yet, but I know that independent films are starting to have money coming in.
Mhm.
You know what? Actors are starting to get paid. It may not be like top dollar, but you're getting at least minimum wage.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you shouldn't do the role.
Right.
Um, and that's just my 2 cents in it. You know what you need to do is you need to go out and make a film with a bunch of friends that is, like, all life changing, okay? I've had the opportunity to do a few of those, but if you have just even one, all right, that is gonna change your whole belief in filmmaking. I also recommend it being a horror film
Yeah.
because, easy to sell,
True.
and, you wanna push the boundaries of your abilities. It'll test every element of you. Your ability to, you know, get through a shoot. But, what is one performance that you completely changed the way you viewed acting or filmmaking from?
Um, I think that Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire. Funny enough.
Really?
Yeah, because I think he's able to do both a genre huge performance, but also a very grounded performance.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, he made me believe that he was an old woman that was a nanny. Like, he made me believe it.
Yeah.
But he was also able to be a struggling father that wanted to be with his kids.
Mhm.
And the fact that he was able to hone both of those in and, really just sell it. And he made it like that performance that it always makes me emotional when I watch it.
It's interesting you said that because I actually met, the teenage daughter
Oh,
from that
really?
film. Yeah, I talked to her a few times. I'm just gonna say it, she's no longer acting. This is important to me because I am somebody that, always look at legacy,
Yeah.
all right? I didn't ever have any children, so I look at films as part of my legacy, and I'm curious to know how important is it for you to have a legacy?
I think what my legacy I'm hoping to bring is that just I'm able to have work that I'm really proud of. And I can look at my work and then I could say, hey, I made something really, really freaking cool. And I'm really excited that I get to show and share it with the world. That's the kind of legacy that I'm wanting to bring, is that I'm just proud of the things that I was able to create. Um, I think that just the ability that as humans, we're able to create stories and worlds and ideas from nothing. It's kind of remarkable.
It is.
And um, I think that's what I want my legacy to be, is that I just want to have something tangible and something really cool that I can be really proud of, you know?
Yeah, and I think you will.
Yeah,
Being that, you're going into you said you're going into your junior year.
junior year.
And, I mean, being you've made it this far, I mean, you only got what, 2 years left,
2
right?
years. Yep.
So, I mean, don't quit now.
No.
Was it a 4-year college
Yeah,
or a 4-year degree?
4-year degree.
Yeah. I've always like I started off in film, like, but I was always told there was no money in it. Of course, that was the thing in the back of my head, and truthfully, there wasn't until I got older. But I will say this, uh, that inspired me to get a good job that allowed me to go out and create the things that I love and be able to showcase the art. Let me ask you this other question: do you think mental health and art play hand in hand?
Absolutely. I think that mental health, it can inspire us and it can also, tear us down a little bit. I know there have been times when I've really been mentally low and I just haven't had the drive to create anything
Mhm,
and make anything.
mhm.
And it really sucks.
Yeah.
Because there's days where I'm like, I just want to make something. I want to do something, but my body just doesn't let me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. Um, and I think looking out for your mental health is really important.
I think art is also like a little bit of escapism for your mental health.
Absolutely. Um, I think because you're able to, um, you're able to make things that can kind of reflect, you know, can kind of, you can, use if you have like anger at the world, you can use that anger as a drive to make something, or you can put it into your art and you can say, you know, this has been really upsetting me, but I'm able to make something of it and I can make something really cool and really great. And, um, I think that I think that's also where I brought up, like, there's the humanity in filmmaking, and I think that's part of it.
Oh, that's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So have you ever been like doppelganger before? Like, has anybody ever said you look like?
I've heard I've heard a few Matt Rifes.
I was literally thinking Matt Rife.
Yeah. I've heard a few Matt Rifes in my life. I've heard Timothy Chalamet a few times
Okay,
because my hair was really long at one point, like his, back
okay.
in Dune. I've heard, who else have I
I
heard?
hope the producers out there are watching this and hearing what you're saying because if you need a character like this,
I'm always open.
yeah, are you doing anything right now?
I am actually gonna be in a short film at the start of June called The Silent Contrition.
Okay,
It is by my good friend Anthony. Um, he went to Fredonia, and we're starting at the beginning of June.
okay.
Yeah.
So this might be that experience we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is it what genre is it?
So it is about a hitman who is like doesn't want to be a hitman anymore. Doesn't like it. And he's kind of going through the ropes, and in his job he's got a bystander who I will be playing, in who he's trying to say who wants him to stay with him so he doesn't rat him out.
Okay.
So, and it's like this mental, struggle for this hitman. Like, I don't want to do this anymore, but I have to.
No comedy in it. This is
There's a
strict.
little comedy.
Oh, there
There's
is.
comedy.
Okay.
There's a good amount of comedy in it.
I'm seeing like visions already in what you can do.
Yeah.
Like being that you're gonna be kind of like the guy who gets strung along throughout
Yes,
this whole time.
exactly.
Anything else coming up?
Yes. So there's another film that a few of my other good friends are doing called Wavelength.
Okay.
Um, so uh it's about just really brief. It's kind of about finding passion in a world that is when somebody feels no passion.
Yeah.
So when people are going through struggles and, trying to go look past through those struggles and find passion and
This goes back to what I said earlier when I were talking about filmmaker and blockbuster. You are talking about an emotional character. It sounds like for both of them, to be honest with
yes.
you. But it does seem like you are going to be like pushing different like limits for yourself.
Mhm.
You're going to be able to test your limits in different aspects and really find where you think you're going to be able to position yourself well in the acting world, you know?
Yeah. So for Silent Contrition, I'll be an actor, and then in Wavelength, I will be a PA, and my good friend Frosty, he's our amazing director and writer.
Now, whereabouts are you filming these? Is this Rochester or
We are
Buffalo?
filming we are filming Silent Contrition in Fredonia, and then we're filming Wavelength here in Hamburg.
Oh, in Hamburg.
Mhm.
Oh, I might have to do a set visit someday there. You
You
know
might.
what I'm saying?
Who knows?
Talk to somebody. You know, I'm very excited to see where you go.
I appreciate that.
Just never give up. Okay, stay focused, and just know this will take everything from you.